Well, on the back of additional visa-free countries that will soon be added that could boost tourism development, CNBC Africa's Chris Bishop spoke to Nomusa Dube-Ncube, who is the MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs for KZN, about visa issues and the investment targets.
It is an ambitious target, but it is targets that are achievable, we do believe, particularly in that already 60% of travelers will be coming from Africa. And we do believe that with our exchange rates, but also with us making it easy for Africans to travel amongst themselves, in terms of also promoting our cultural tourism through music, through literature, through academics, through young people exchange, we do believe that it is possible that we can reach this target.
And talking about getting tourists from the rest of the continent, I know it's one of the targets also of this government. I was just looking through the Stats SA figures. Most of the tourists who come here from neighboring countries, Zimbabwe, Swaziland, Mozambique. By the time you get to Tanzania and Angola, those numbers start to decline sharply. How much more aggressive do you think South Africa should be in marketing to the rest of the continent to come here?
Well, we think that we should be more aggressive in marketing ourselves, and one of the areas is through the e-visas. With the introduction of e-visas, we do believe that it's going to make it possible and easier for people to apply for visas to come into South Africa. But also with our extension of what is called the East 3 route, we already have what is called the East 3 route, where we promote the traveling among South Africa, Mozambique and Swaziland, which is something that happens every year. And we believe that with the extension of that East 3 route to include other African countries, that will also further boost the numbers, because that is guaranteed that those people will travel to those countries. If we have 5 or 6 more countries joining us, like we had Seychelles at some stage joining us, if we have 2 more, 3 more countries joining us, that will also further guarantees the numbers going up. But we also believe that with the schools and the young people taking advantage of each other's travel and the products that are available, particularly the historical tourist attractions that are available around the African continent, we do believe that it definitely is possible for us to get the numbers that we're talking about, because each one of us as African continent, we are very unique. If you travel to Rwanda, if you travel to Mozambique, if you travel to Swaziland, if you travel to Botswana, you've not seen South Africa if you have not seen Zimbabwe. So each of us have got a unique product to offer. And we do believe that when we invest in those products, when we really aggressively talk to each other, and if we talk the language that is understood by each other, but also the fact that it is possible to travel, because if you look at our currency, it is also affordable for us to travel amongst each other, because you can even travel by road, which is possible, and it is doable. Which means you could have groups of communities, of people, of young people traveling by buses, which we can really work very hard in promoting within our tourism industry.
I interviewed the former tourism minister, Derek Hanekom, just last year for CNBC Africa, and he told me then that he thought that the visa situation could be solved at the stroke of a pen very quickly, and it would make a massive difference to the tourism industry here. But more than a year later, we're still waiting. Why is that?
Well, I think we are moving with that, because the fact that already last year our presidents have signed the free trade agreement among the African continent. I think the next thing to come will be that free visa travel that should be signed in the near future. So I think it is possible that it will happen very soon.
What are the sticking points on the visa issue?
Well, the sticking point still remains the fact that we all need to ensure security. We also all need to ensure that there are, observation of the protocols of each other's countries, and we also all need to ensure that it is safe for all of us to travel around the continent, as well as the infrastructure for us to travel. And if we can deal with those issues, we do believe that we would have dealt with half of some of the sticking points that remain for us to be able to say, indeed, we have a free travel zone in the African continent.